Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to be showing you one of the simplest functions in the dplyr package. That is the select function. So the select function is used for selecting column names from a data set. So when you want to select a specific column or a specific group of columns, you use the select function to select those columns. So I'm going to be showing you this example using the diamonds data set, my favorite data set, ggplot diamonds. So I'm going to assign it to a variable data. So let's view our data and see. So this is our diamonds data set, as you are seeing. So now I want to select a column, carat. I want to select the carat column. So I'm going to pass my data to the select function and type in carat, the name of the column name. So as you can see, I have my column name carat. As simple as that. There's nothing difficult. If you want to type, if you also want to select another column with carat, let's say I want to select cuts. I type in cuts and I get that of cuts. So the next thing I'm going to be talking about are the selection operators, which you can use in the select function. So the first I'm going to be talking about is the colon. So if I want to select a range or a group of column names, if we go back to our data, I want to select from carat to depth. Then I'm going to use the colon operator. So I'm going to say data. I'll pass it to my select function. Say carat to depth. So you can see I have only the columns carat to depth. You cannot just only do this with the names. You can also use the column numbers, because if you go back to our data, carat is the first column, then cut second, color third, clarity fourth, and depth fifth. I can also say data select. I say 1 to 5, and I also have the same thing, carat to depth. The next selection operator is the not sign, or we can say the exclamation sign. So if you don't want a particular column to show, so I'm going to say not price. I don't want the price column to show. So you can see in my data, I don't have the price column. So this exclamation mark or this not sign, you are going to use it anytime you don't want a particular column to show. You can also use it if you don't want a particular group of column to also show. I can say not 1 to 5. So not 1 to 5, I can see that the first 5 columns are not going to show. So the next selection operator I'm going to be talking about is the combine function. So imagine I want to select carat, color, and depth. So you can see they are not actually together, or let's say I want to select carat, color, and the column Z. So this is where the combine function can be used. I can say C, then I'll say carat, color, then Z. So you can see I have only these 3 columns. Next, I'm going to be talking about selection helpers. So selection helpers also helps you to select a particular column or also group of columns. The first selection helper is going to be everything. So this actually gives you all the columns in your data. So with the everything selection helper, you are going to get every column in your data. We also have another selection helper called last column. So this selects the last column in your data. So by default, it is going to select the last column, which is by your farthest right on your data, which on our data is the Z column. If I want to now select the column before Z, I have the N option or the N argument, which I'm going to give. If I give 1, so this is the column, the first column before the initial last column, and it is going to give me Y. What if I want to select the 5th column before the initial last column? I'm going to get depth, which is actually our 5th column. So this is the last column selection helper. The next selection helper I'm going to be talking about is the start with selection helper. So this start with selection helper allows you to select a particular column from a data based on what the column name is starting with. So you want to select a column name that starts with the letter P. So I'm going to use the start with selection helper. I'm going to say start with. So this start with selection helper is going to select me any column that starts with the letter P, which you can see I have here, which is only the price column. What if I want to select a column starting with the letter D? So the start with selection helper allows me to select column names that start with the letter D. So another thing that you can also combine this selection operation with selection helper. I don't want column names starting with starting with letter D, so I can use the not sign. I can see that any column name starting with letter D is not going to be present in the data. Now the next is also end with. So I think you have already figured out what this also does. It selects a column name based on what the column ends with. So now I don't want columns that end with the letter T. So you can see we only have, I want columns, that ends with the letter T. So you can see we have two columns ending with the letter T, carat and cut. So same thing also you can apply if you don't want a column ending with the letter A, you don't want a column name ending with the letter, you want a column name ending with the letter T, or you don't want a column name ending with the letter T. So you can use your ends with selection helper. Then the last selection helper I'm going to be talking about is the contain, or is the contains selection helper. So when I say data, select, so contains, so I want columns that contains the word ice. So you can see I only have one column name that have the word ice, or I want column names that have the word IC in it. Also, can you see this is the only column that I have in my data that have the word IC. So that is all about the select function, the select operators, and also the selection helpers. So this is usually used mostly when you want to select a particular group of columns you want to work with when you are performing exploratory data analysis. Thank you.